And this is my ode, my love story to omega-3s. That's how important they are. I am so excited to talk to you about something super important for your health that doesn't get enough attention. It may not sound exciting when you first hear about it, but I want you to stay with me. I am going to make you the biggest fan of this one thing by the end of this show. Ready? Okay. Omega-3 fatty acids. It may not sound sexy. It may not sound exciting, but it's very. Okay. I put together a guide for you, just like I did with the skincare episode, that is all about omega-3s. I want to give you the research. I want to let you go deeper in all the things that I'm talking about. Because again, I don't want to just give you my opinion on things. I will tell you when it's my opinion. I want to give you stuff that's research backed. We have enough people all over the internet giving their opinion, pretending it's fact, hyping people up on things that I think is really, really unhealthy. It will also be in the show notes too, but if you want to hop over there, it's there. So why do I love these? These are little fats that pack a punch, okay? When it comes to keeping your body healthy and your mind healthy, whether we're focused on improving your skin, like we talked about last week, or boosting your energy, or helping anti-aging, which is amazing, omega-3s are the must-have in your routine. Now, I just want to say, I'm not a doctor, of course, but I am sharing what I've learned, what I know, what I live by, what I help other people with, just advising people that I know and that I love. Please check with your doctor before you start anything new. I don't want anyone to start any, massive changes in their life without checking in and making sure that it's okay. Now, let's get on with it. So first off, what in the world really are omega-3s and why do we need them? Let's break it down. So they are essential fats, which means your body needs them, but your body cannot make them on its own. You have to get them through food or supplements. There are three main types. I'm just going to give you the short version. There's ALA, there's EPA, and DHA. Okay? ALA, that is going to come from flaxseed. There's EPA and DHA. Those things come from fatty fish like salmon. EPA and DHA are the real stars. That's what's important when it comes to all the health benefits, especially for your skin and your brain and your heart and just overall well-being. ALA that comes from flaxseed, that people take that if they're vegan and they don't want to use any animal products. I want to give you a word of caution on this. If you're taking a supplement that's mostly ALA, it isn't an efficient source of omega-3s because the body can only convert between 1 and 9% of it into essential DHA and EPA forms, the good stuff. DHA and EPA, that's amazing. ALA, your body just cannot turn that into the good stuff. It can't get enough unless you start eating pounds and pounds of flaxseed every day, and nobody needs to do that. So if you see a vegan form of omega-3s, realize your body can only convert 1 to 9% of that into the good stuff that your body needs. Omega-3s are a huge deal. I'm doing this whole episode on nutrients coming up in the future, but if you can only take one thing, I say make it an omega-3. It's that big of a deal. I'm going to tell you stories from my own family, stories from my life. It's that important. It is essential because we can't make it and we have to get it. And nobody is eating enough salmon to get the omega-3s that we need on our own. We're just not doing it. They help the body reduce inflammation. And of course, inflammation is linked to everything from heart disease to skin aging, right? Omega-3s, they support our brain. They help us with focus. They help us with memory, and they even help us with mood. One thing I love about them, we talked about mitochondria last week in the skin episode, the powerhouse of the cell. They improve mitochondrial function. More and more research is coming out all the time that shows we have a sickness in our mitochondrial function from all the sugar that we eat. And the landscape is really just toxic food after toxic food. And you can see it in the health of people each decade of life. What it comes down to our mitochondrial function. Omega-3s help our mitochondria. Now, I just did a whole episode on skincare, and I talked a lot about omega-3s because omega-3s are key for our skin. They make our skin look plump. They can help our skin not be dry and itchy and irritated. I want you to listen to that whole episode, but just a quick revisit. What omega-3s do is they help our moisture barrier so we can keep our skin looking plump and looking amazing and soft and smooth. And studies show that omega-3 reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles while fighting off some of the damage that's caused by the sun, which is amazing. Another thing about skin that I'm almost nervous to talk about too much because, again, this is my experience. This is an N of one. I don't have 1,000 people to tell you about, but one of my sons suffers from eczema pretty badly. And he was prescribed a cream after cream after cream and nothing worked. And we saw one dermatologist who said, well, UV light can treat eczema. So I bought a UV light wand off of Amazon and we were using that to treat it a little bit, but you don't want to get too much UV light. It's like, what's worse, skin that's falling apart or UV light? And I started upping his omega-3s. He was already on vitamins, but kind of hit or miss with omega-3s. And I gave him a multivitamin and a magnesium and extra omega-3s. And within a month, the eczema was gone. So I'm not saying that it cures all eczema for everyone, but I know for him, like I can look at his arms and I can say, buddy, you haven't been taking your omega-3s. And he'll go, yeah, I know, I forgot. Because I can just tell if the eczema comes back. So omega-3s are so important for skin health, not just for our appearance, but they're important for the health of our skin. Whenever I talk to other moms, if their kids have eczema, one of the first things I do is I go, hey, let's talk about a high quality omega-3s. Let's get that in the diet immediately. And I'm always so excited to hear back from them about how much it helps. I'll talk to you about the quality and how to pick the right one later on in the show. Now let's talk about omega-3s for energy and for focus. We all need more of all those things. There's probably times in your life that you feel like you don't have enough energy, that you're tired all the time, and you're like, well, this is just life now, right? Like life is crazy. I'm exhausted and everything hurts, right? Omega-3s actually can help with that. So what omega-3s do is they support your body's ability to use fat as fuel, and that'll help your energy stay steady during the day. They help with brain function. We're going to talk a lot about fatty acids in the brain, but they help us improve our focus and our clarity. So if you've ever hit a mid-afternoon slump where your brain just feels foggy, omega-3s actually can help with that too. In fact, if you're dealing with mid-afternoon slumps, you really want to look into how much carbs and sugar you've had with lunch. You want to kind of have more protein. From last episode, I'm obsessed with protein. I think we should get a gram of protein for every pound of body weight. So you want to up your protein, make sure you're not having too many carbs and sugar with lunch, and then make sure you're taking your omega-3s. That should completely take care of that mid-afternoon slump if you're having it. Okay, now let's go back to anti-aging, one of my favorite topics. I'm kind of obsessed with it right now because I want my next 40 years to be even better than my last 48. And yes, I said 40 years. Like, let me keep feeling good at 88. Let me keep feeling good at 98. And Lord, take me home if I'm alive after 98. But I want to feel good. I want to take this life that God has given me and feel as great as I can for as many years as He's given me. Because as we get older, our bodies start breaking down, right? They don't work as smoothly as they used to, unfortunately. Omega-3s help with this. They help slow this process down because they protect your cells from damage. It's like they are an internal repair crew, and they're keeping your cells strong and they're healthy. And this will help reduce the risk of things like heart disease, like I mentioned, dementia, and of course, wrinkles as we age. Now, one thing I love about omega-3s is they will keep your joints more flexible and preserve muscle mass too, because those things naturally decrease as we get older. So if you want to stay active, if you want to stay strong, it's just another reason to take omega-3s. I hope you're not getting bored with me listing all the research and all the things that it matters. This is like a big advertisement for omega-3s. I wish I was sponsored by omega-3s. I would take that advertising money all day long. Okay, let's talk about hormones. Again, I'm linking all of the research to this in the free guide I gave you. I just don't want to list the research on the show because that seems really boring. For women, omega-3s can also help us balance our hormones. Sometimes I see ads online like balance your hormones with this new supplement that just came out, and I'm always a little skeptical. But omega-3s do help balance our hormone. They can reduce PMS symptoms. That was huge for me. That was a game changer in how I managed my PMS, kind of how I felt before I started taking omega-3s and how I felt after. I went from not liking my husband for about a week and a half to only not liking him for a day. He can thank omega-3s for that. He could do a whole ad for omega-3s just because of that. If PMS is an issue for you, give omega-3s a try and see if it helps. Again, we're going to talk about the strength. We're going to talk about how you get them. We're going to talk about the quality because it matters. You can't just buy omega-3s at Walmart and be like, I don't know why they didn't work. It's not like that. You really want to get quality omega-3s. Okay, next thing I want to tell you about. This is the most exciting thing about omega-3s that we have. Omega-3s and myelin health. Okay, myelin is the protective coating around your nerves. It's kind of like insulation around electrical wires. Without a healthy myelin, that myelin sheath, your nerves can't send signals as quickly or clearly, which can affect everything from your thinking and your movement. I mean, think about it. What all do nerves do in our body? And if the nerve coating, the myelin sheath, doesn't have enough fat, it's just not going to operate well. That fat, the coating in the myelin sheath, that is made of omega-3s. So omega-3s, especially DHA, that supports the production and the maintenance of myelin by reducing inflammation and helping your body repair damaged myelin. So this is really important because damaged myelin can lead to lots of really serious illnesses. MS, peripheral neuropathy, Guillain-Barré, Alzheimer's, cognitive decline, chronic inflammatory diseases. All these things are affected because there is an issue with the myelin sheath health. So I'm going to tell you my story. The reason I fell in love with omega-3s years and years ago, I want to talk to you about verbal apraxia. So verbal apraxia is a neurological disorder where the brain has trouble coordinating the muscle movements necessary for speech. Research has been showing for over 20 years that omega-3s, particularly DHA, again, DHA and EPA is the good stuff, could be beneficial for kids dealing with verbal apraxia because of the role in brain development and function. So, like I said, omega-3s support brain connectivity and help that myelin sheath, which, as we discussed, is critical for clear nerve signaling. So in kids with verbal apraxia, improving the myelin sheath can support the nerves that coordinate speech. So imagine me, I'm a young mom. This is approximately 17 years ago. I used dial-up internet, which was loud and took forever because I was researching everything I could on verbal apraxia. What do I do? How do I support it? I had a 3-year-old who could not speak. He just made noises. And I found a research study that was out of the University of Miami. I can't find it now when I look for it. And it was explaining that kids with verbal apraxia did not have enough fat on their myelin sheath and that high dose, high grade omega-3s were helping these kids learn to talk. And I was like, I'm in, let's go. So I remember telling my son's speech therapist when she came to the house, like, hey, high dose omega-3s are helping kids with verbal apraxia talk. I'm starting him on high dose omega-3s this week, and he's going to start talking. And you know, she was polite and she was professional, but she was kind of like, okay, lady, good luck. I kid you not, within 2 weeks, he was stringing 3 words together. It did it and it worked. And he has taken omega-3s ever since. And if there's ever, say, it's normally about 2 weeks where he doesn't take it, his speech will kind of be off. He'll stutter. He'll have to say the same things over and over again. He'll get a tic. And I can be like, hey, you haven't been taking your omega-3s. So will it work for everyone? I don't know. But I know it was the magic thing for us. And if I could stand on a mountain and tell everybody, hey, take omega-3s, Get your kids on omega-3s. It's going to support their brain health. I would, because I feel like it's that important. I don't know what would have happened had I not Googled and found that research that day that explained about myelin sheath and nerve endings. And the kids just needed more fat on their myelin sheaths. But it's not that kids can have more fat that comes from a hot dog or mac and cheese. It has to be EPA and DHA. It has to be omega-3s. We can't get it unless we take it specifically. I had another friend whose daughter was diagnosed with Tourette's, I think 2 years ago. And I said, I want you to put her on high dose omega-3s. Let's see what happens. And it has been amazing to help control the Tourette's. Can it work for everyone? I don't know. I just know that with my friend, with her daughter, it was the game changer. And when she's taken her off of it, the Tourette's is so much harder to control. So if there are any type of neurological issues, ADD, I feel like I have my ADD under control because I do take a lot of omega-3s. Tourette's, depression, verbal apraxia, like I mentioned, I feel like it is worth a shot. It can't hurt us. There's no danger in it. You can't take too much omega-3s unless you just start drinking a whole bottle, right? I want to say really clearly, I am not a doctor. I'm not a researcher. I'm just telling you what I found. I'm telling you what's worked for my family and what's worked for people that I have advised. I'm going out on a limb to be able to share it, but I feel like it's too important not to share. Okay, so now let's talk about how do you pick it? How do you choose a high quality supplement? Not all omega-3 supplements are the same. I mentioned before, don't just grab some from Walmart and think it's going to be good enough. You want a high quality one that's going to give you all the benefits that we've talked about. So you want to look for freshness. They can go bad quickly. So you want to choose a supplement with low oxidation. I mean, if you open it and it smells really gross and strong and fishy, it's not fresh. You want to think about the purity. So you want to make sure your supplement is purified to remove any contaminants like mercury or heavy metals. You want to look for a product that has been third-party tested. There's an organization called the IFOS. That's the International Fish Oil Standards. I did not make that up. And you want to go to those groups' websites. We have the links for you in the show notes and in the guide that I made for you, and make sure they're safe and match what's on the label. Another thing is bioavailability. You want to make sure that your body can actually absorb it. So the best forms of omega-3s are triglycerides or phospholipids, which are the kinds that are naturally found in fish. Some cheaper omega-3s will use something called ethyl esters. Those are super hard for your body to absorb, so you want to check the label. It's so important to talk about the ones that we buy, because if a supplement is really inexpensive, sometimes, yes, what they say is in the bottle is actually in the bottle, but that cheaper form isn't bioavailable, so we can't even process it. We can't even use it. Last thing, number 4, you want to look at the concentration of omega-3s. Look for a supplement with high concentration of EPA and DHA. Again, these are the forms that your body can actually absorb. Ideally, the product should be at least 80% omega-3s with no fillers. I am going to tell you which kinds I use. I brought it here. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see I have used Nordic Naturals for over 17 years since my one son started it. You can hear it if you're listening on audio. I use Nordic Naturals Ultimate Omega. We also have the liquid form, Nordic Naturals Omega-3. There's been so many times in our family through the years, we just haven't had any extra money. And I have given up so many things, but there's no way I give up omega-3s. Like it's been that important. So if you want a brand that I trust and has been third-party tested and I think works really well, I really, really like Ultimate Omega. I think they're fantastic. I sometimes even give them to the dog. Okay, so how much should you take? That's the next logical question. When it comes to how much omega-3 you should take, most people do well with about 1,000 milligrams of EPA and DHA combined every day. So if you're looking to manage a specific issue like really dry skin or low energy, you might want a higher dose. If you are trying to treat for a neurological condition, this isn't research backed. This is Allie, right? If you're treating for a neurological condition, you may want to start with a super high dose. That's what I did with my son. I started with like double the dose every day for a couple of months to build up the omega-3s in his system, and then kind of pulled back a little bit to a more reasonable dose every day. Now, check with your doctor. Again, if you're unsure, feel free to check with your doctor. That's how we do it. But if you think, wow, there's so many places in my body that needs a certain kind of fat. Like if you think about every nerve cell in your body, for your nerve cell to be able to work well, you have to have omega-3s. Nobody's getting enough, basically, unless you're supplementing. I mean, maybe there's somebody out there who's eating pounds and pounds and pounds of salmon every day, but I doubt it. I mean, this is something, if we don't take it, our bodies don't work like they need to work. That's how important this is. This is something that everyone should know. Everyone should be taught. This isn't something that should be niche information. It's literally every single nerve cell in your body. Okay, getting into niche things like how do you store it? Once you found a high quality one, again, I recommend Nordic Naturals. You really do want to store it well. Omega-3s are super sensitive to heat and light and air, so keep your supplements in the fridge. That will slow down any oxidation that can happen. I mean, 20 years I've been taking them. And again, I just want you to hear me say, don't buy them at the grocery store. Buy a really good brand. It's too important. Also, don't buy cod liver oil thinking it's an omega-3 supplement. It's not. It's also full of vitamin A and vitamin D, and you don't want to take too much of that. Too much vitamin A and too much fat-soluble vitamin D, those can be really damaging to your body. So you got to get the good stuff if you want results, and I want you to get results. I'm so excited to even hear for people who are learning about omega-3s for the first time on this episode. I'm excited to hear from you what it does, because anytime I tell people about it and they take my advice, I always get such great responses for what it has done for their life. That's why I do these shows. Okay, so I gave you a ton of information. I hope you didn't feel like you're in ninth grade biology class. I'm so passionate about it. I hope I at least made it fun. How do I wrap it up? Let's put it this way. Omega-3s are simple and powerful. It is a great way to improve your health and keep you feeling great. It'll help your skin glow. It'll help you feel great. It'll help give you energy. It'll help you hate people less when you have PMS. It will support the health of your myelin sheath. Again, every single nerve in your body. If verbal apraxia is an issue, if some certain neurological conditions are an issue, it could be helpful. Again, I'm not making promises. I'm just telling you what I've seen in my life and with my friends' kids. It has anti-aging benefits. I mean, these little fats make a huge difference. You want to get high quality. You want to store it right. You want to store it in your fridge. That's it. That's omega-3s in a nutshell. And this is my ode, my love story to omega-3s. That's how important they are. I hope you found it helpful. I want you to take a closer look. I want you to get into the science of omega-3s. I want you to get into the research. That's why I made this guide. So don't forget to download it. It's a free resource we put together for you, all about the power of omega-3s, the brand I like, the research behind it. Again, I just want to inform you enough so you can go do that research too. So you can talk to your doctor, you can get the right brand, and you can do a test in your life too. And as always, I love that you're here. I love that we have this time together every week to invest in ourselves, because an investment in you and your physical health benefits everyone in your life. You know, I believe in what's inside of you. I believe in your dreams. And I know you're making an impact on this world for good. That's why you're here every week. Sometimes we're learning something faith related, sometimes health related, sometimes the fat content of myelin sheaths. Who knows? Who knows what you're going to get on the show? What I want to do is give you everything I can in so many different areas to help you thrive, because God has created you to stand strong and bring something special and unique to this world that only you can bring. And I love that I get to coach you and I get to encourage you every week. So keep stepping up, keep showing up, and keep loving well, because you can't break a woman who gets her strength from God. I hope you have a great day, and I'll be back with you Monday. Oh, that was a long show. Okay. Omega-3s in a nutshell. They really should sponsor me. No, they shouldn't. I don't want to be sponsored. All right. And cut.